Every pilot learns one rule. Never fly sick. But the captain breaks it. Both pilots collapse at 41,000 feet. The cockpit door is locked. 289 passengers trapped. She is just a flight attendant. But she is the only one who can land the plane. Before you watch full story, comment below from which country are you watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more amazing stories. Every pilot learns one sacred rule in training. Never fly incapacitated. Never take off if you are sick. Never continue if you cannot perform. This rule exists for one reason. Lives depend on it. Captain Ryan Mitchell knows this rule. He has known it for 22 years. But today, on Flight 447 somewhere over the Atlantic Ocean at 41,000 feet, he is about to break it. And the flight attendant he just told to never come near his cockpit? She is not just cabin crew. She is Captain Sarah Chen. Former Air Force fighter pilot. 3,200 flight hours. Active commercial pilot license. Combat veteran. And in the next 2 hours, she is going to do something Ryan said would never happen. She is going to break through his locked door. She is going to take his seat. And she is going to save every single one of the 289 lives he just put at risk. It is 2:15 p.m. on a Tuesday afternoon. JFK Airport, New York City. Terminal 7, Gate 22B. The Airbus A330 sits massive and gleaming in the bright afternoon sun. Registration number N447UA printed in bold letters on the fuselage. United Airlines Flight 447 to London Heathrow. Distance 3,459 miles. Scheduled flight time 7 hours 22 minutes. The aircraft is already boarding. 289 passengers streaming through the jet bridge. First class boards first. Business class follows behind. Then economy fills the back rows. The gate agent scans boarding passes one by one. The jet bridge makes that familiar humming sound. Outside on the tarmac, ground crew loads the final baggage containers into the cargo hold. The auxiliary power unit whines. Inside, the cabin comes alive with activity. Overhead bins snap shut. Passengers settle into seats. Flight attendants check tickets and smile. Captain Ryan Mitchell walks through the terminal at exactly 2:18 p.m. He is 48 years old. 6 feet tall. Salt and pepper hair cut military short. Clean-shaven face. Perfect posture like a soldier on parade. For gold stripes crisp and bright on his navy blue uniform shoulders. White captain's shirt pressed with sharp creases. Black tie perfectly knotted. Expensive Rolex Submariner watch gleaming on his left wrist. Black pilot's roller bag trailing behind him on smooth wheels. Ryan carries himself with absolute confidence. Authority radiates from every step. He has been flying commercial jets for 22 years. Started with United right out of college. Worked his way up from regional puddle jumpers to international wide-body jets. Boeing 737s first. Then 757s. Then 767s. Now the A330. He has logged 18,000 flight hours in his career. Perfect safety record. Not a single incident. Not one violation. Not one complaint from passengers or crew. He is proud of this record. Very proud. It defines him. Ryan believes in rules. He believes in hierarchy. He believes in order and discipline. The captain is in charge. Period. End of discussion. The cockpit is his domain. His kingdom. His sacred space. His responsibility alone. What he says goes. No questions asked. No debate allowed. That is how flying works. That is how it has always worked. That is how it will always work. The flight deck is for pilots. The cabin is for cabin crew. These worlds do not mix. They should not mix. Pilots fly. Flight attendants serve. Clear boundaries. Clear roles. Clear chain of command. This is not arrogance to Ryan. This is professionalism. This is safety. This is the right way to run an aircraft. He reaches the aircraft door at 2:22 p.m. A flight attendant stands there greeting passengers. Sarah Chen. 35 years old. 5 feet 6 inches tall. Black hair pulled back in a regulation tight bun. Navy blue United uniform fitted perfectly to her slim frame. 3 gold service pins on her left lapel showing 8 years with the airline. Bright professional smile on her face. Perfect posture. She looks up as Ryan approaches. Her smile does not waver. "Good afternoon, Captain Mitchell," she says politely. Ryan barely glances at her. Just a quick nod. No smile. No words. He keeps walking toward the cockpit without breaking stride. Flight attendants are cabin crew. He is flight crew. Different jobs. Different worlds. Different levels. He flies the plane. They serve drinks and peanuts. That is the natural order of things. That is how it should be. Sarah watches him walk past. She does not take offense. She has seen this type of captain hundreds of times before. The ones who think flight attendants are just glorified waiters in the sky. The ones who never bother to learn crew names. The ones who act like the cabin does not exist unless there is a problem. She has worked with captains like this for years. Some pilots are kind and respectful. They treat the whole crew as a team. Others are not. Ryan Mitchell clearly falls into the second category. She does not take it personally anymore. Not worth the energy. She has her job to do. He has his. They will fly together for 7 hours and probably never speak again. That is fine. That is normal. That is how most flights go. But Sarah notices something as Ryan walks past her. Small details that most people would miss. His gait is slightly uneven. His left shoulder sits a bit lower than his right shoulder. Old injury perhaps. Sports injury or military injury. And his eyes look tired. Very tired. Dark circles underneath like he has not slept well in days. Maybe weeks. His skin has a slight gray pallor to it. Not healthy. Not right. She files these observations away in her mind. Probably nothing important. Probably just fatigue from too many flights. Probably fine. But she notices. She always notices. That is what makes her good at her job. Ryan enters the cockpit at 2:24 p.m. His first officer is already there in the right seat. Jessica Park. 29 years old. Korean American. Sharp intelligent eyes behind thin wireframe glasses. Excellent pilot. Quick learner. Follows instructions perfectly. Never questions orders. Never makes mistakes. She has been flying with United for 4 years now. Mostly domestic routes. Some Caribbean trips. This is her first transatlantic crossing as first officer on the A330. She is excited. Nervous. Ready. She looks up as Ryan enters. "Good afternoon, Captain," she says with genuine respect in her voice. Ryan grunts a response. Sits down in the left seat. The captain's seat. His seat. His throne. He begins the pre-flight routine with practiced efficiency. The cockpit door stands wide open during boarding. Standard company policy. FAA regulation. Transparency. But Ryan hates it. He genuinely hates it. He can see passengers walking by in the aisle. Looking in. Pointing. Taking photos with their phones sometimes. Children pressing their faces to the doorway. It bothers him deeply. The cockpit should be private. Sacred. Off limits to everyone except qualified flight crew. After September 11, 2001, everything changed in aviation. Reinforced cockpit doors became mandatory. Heavy steel cores. Bulletproof. Able to withstand axes and gunfire and even small explosions. New locks. New security protocols. New rules. Keep the cockpit secure at all costs. Never let anyone unauthorized inside. The rule is absolute. The rule is sacred. Ryan believes in this rule completely. At 2:31 p.m., Sarah appears at the cockpit door. She needs to coordinate the pre-flight safety briefing with the captain. Standard procedure before every single flight. Required by law. She steps carefully to the threshold of the cockpit door. She does not enter. Does not cross the line. Just stands politely at the doorway. "Captain Mitchell," she says in her professional voice. "I need to go over the cabin brief with you." Ryan looks up from his instruments. His face hardens immediately. His jaw tightens. She is at his cockpit door. Standing in his space. Looking into his domain. He does not like it. "Make it quick," he says. His tone is cold. Dismissive. Borderline rude. Sarah does not react to his tone. She has heard worse. Much worse. She begins explaining quickly and efficiently. "We have 289 passengers on board today. Full flight. 6 flight attendants including myself. Extra medical kits are verified and stocked. Emergency equipment checked and ready. All passengers are seated and accounted for." She pauses. Then continues. "I need to inform you that the passenger in seat 12A has a severe peanut allergy. Life-threatening. We will make an announcement and will not serve any peanut products today. Also, there is a medical doctor on board. Dr. Robert Hayes. Cardiologist from Boston General Hospital. Seat 23C. He has identified himself to crew. Available if needed for medical emergency." Ryan is not really listening. He is checking instruments. Running through the pre-flight checklist in his mind. This cabin coordination is not his concern. Not his job. That is her responsibility. He nods absently. "Fine. Anything else?" Sarah hesitates for just a moment. Then continues. "Also, Captain, I wanted to confirm the cockpit access procedure during flight. In case of emergency situation, the protocol states that cabin crew can request." Ryan cuts her off mid-sentence. His voice sharp. Final. "The cockpit door stays locked during flight. Always. No exceptions whatsoever. No cabin crew enters this cockpit unless I specifically authorize it. Which I will not do. Is that clear?" His eyes bore into hers. Cold. Hard. Unyielding. Sarah pauses. Chooses her words carefully. "Understood, Captain. But if there is an emergency situation," Ryan interrupts again. Louder this time. "No exceptions means no exceptions. The cockpit is flight deck only. You handle the cabin. I handle the cockpit. We do not cross those lines. Ever. That is the rule. That is how this works. That is how it will always work on my aircraft." He turns back to his instruments. Dismissing her. Conversation over. Sarah nods slowly. "Yes, Captain. Understood completely." She backs away from the door. Returns to the cabin. Her face remains professionally neutral. But her mind is working. Filing information. Making assessments. Ryan watches her go in his peripheral vision. Good. Boundary established firmly. Lines drawn clearly. The cockpit is his domain. His kingdom. His responsibility. Cabin crew stays in the cabin where they belong. Flight crew stays on the flight deck where they belong. That is the system. That is the hierarchy. That is aviation. Security. Protocol. Rules. These things exist for good reasons. They keep everyone safe. They prevent chaos. They maintain order. Ryan has followed these rules his entire career. He will continue following them until the day he retires. No exceptions. No compromises. No flexibility. But what Ryan does not know, what he cannot possibly know, what he has no way of knowing, is this simple fact. Sarah Chen is not just a flight attendant. She is not just cabin crew with 8 years of service and 3 gold pins. She is not just someone who serves drinks and smiles at passengers. Sarah Chen is a pilot. A real pilot. A highly qualified pilot. A combat pilot. She joined the United States Air Force in 2010 right after graduating college. She went through pilot training at Pensacola Naval Air Station in Florida. Tough training. Demanding training. Most candidates wash out. Sarah excelled. Top of her class. She wanted fighters. She got fighters. F-16 Fighting Falcons. She flew them for 6 years. She deployed to Afghanistan twice. 2 full combat tours. She flew 87 combat missions over hostile territory. Close air support for ground troops. Reconnaissance missions. Strike missions. Dangerous work. Life or death work. She earned 2 air medals for her service. Multiple commendations. Perfect flight record. 0 incidents. She was promoted to captain in the Air Force. Led a flight of 4 F-16s. Commanded missions. Made life and death decisions at 500 miles per hour. And she was good at it. Very good at it. But in 2016, her father got sick. Cancer. Terminal. Aggressive. He needed family close. Sarah requested early discharge. Honorable discharge granted. She left the Air Force. Came home to New York. Needed to be with family. After leaving the military, Sarah still wanted to fly. It was in her blood. In her bones. In her soul. She could not imagine not flying. She joined a regional commercial airline in 2016. Started as first officer. Flew Bombardier CRJ-700 regional jets. Small aircraft. 70 passengers. Short flights. Denver to Albuquerque. Phoenix to San Diego. Dallas to Oklahoma City. She flew for 2 years as first officer. Built hours. Learned commercial aviation. Then she got promoted to captain. She was 31 years old. Young for a captain. But qualified. Skilled. Ready. She flew as captain for 1 more year. 2019, total flight hours reached 3,200. All of them excellent. Perfect record. No incidents. No violations. Passengers loved her. Crew respected her. She was on track for major airlines. Legacy carriers. The big leagues. But then her father died in early 2020. Sarah was devastated. Lost. Grieving. She took time off. Tried to figure out life. Her mother was alone now. Needed support. Needed family close. Sarah needed stability. Needed better pay. Needed flexible schedule. Regional airline captain pay was okay but not great. Long hours. Tough schedule. Living in crash pads. She wanted something different. Something more stable. She applied to United Airlines in late 2020. Not as a pilot. As a flight attendant. Better base pay than regional captain. Better benefits. Better work-life balance. Better schedule flexibility. She could live at home. Take care of her mother. Still be in aviation. Still be around aircraft. It seemed like a good choice at the time. United hired her in January 2021. She went through flight attendant training. 6 weeks. She learned service procedures. Safety procedures. Emergency protocols. How to serve drinks. How to handle difficult passengers. How to evacuate an aircraft. It was easy for her. She already knew most of it from pilot training. She graduated top of her class. Got assigned to international routes. JFK base. Perfect. She has been working as a flight attendant for United for 4 years now. 8 years total if you count her time before the company merger. She is senior cabin crew now. Led flight attendant on many flights. Respected by colleagues. Liked by passengers. Good at her job. But here is the important part. The critical part. The part that matters. Sarah kept her pilot license current. Commercial pilot license. Multi-engine rating. Instrument rating. She renews it every year. Takes the medical exam every year. Passes with perfect scores. She flies recreationally on weekends. Rents small planes. Cessnas. Pipers. Flies out of small airports around New York. Just to keep sharp. Just to stay current. Just to keep the skills alive. Just in case. Just in case she ever needs them. Just in case an opportunity comes. Just in case something happens. She keeps her license current. Active. Legal. Ready. But she never tells the pilots at United. Why would she? They do not ask. They do not care. They do not see flight attendants as anything other than service workers. To them, she is just cabin crew. Just someone who serves drinks and smiles. They do not know her background. They do not know her training. They do not know she flew F-16s in combat. They do not know she was a captain on regional jets. They do not know she has 3,200 flight hours. They do not ask. She does not volunteer. It is not relevant to her current job. She serves passengers. She does safety briefings. She handles emergencies in the cabin. That is her role now. That is what she does. The pilots do not need to know anything else. So she does her job. She does it very well. She is professional. Competent. Reliable. She helps passengers. She supports crew. She follows procedures. And she watches. She observes. She notices things that others miss. Like today. Like Captain Ryan Mitchell. She noticed how tired he looks. The dark circles under his eyes. The gray pallor of his skin. The slight unevenness in his walk. The way his left shoulder sits lower. The tiny tremor in his hand when he signed the flight documents. Small things. Subtle things. Warning signs perhaps. Probably nothing. Probably just fatigue. Probably stress. Pilots are human. They get tired. They have bad days. Usually it is fine. Usually they push through. Usually nothing happens. But sometimes. Sometimes something does happen. Sometimes the warning signs mean something. Sometimes tired pilots make mistakes. Sometimes health problems emerge mid-flight. Sometimes emergencies occur. And when they do, having an extra qualified pilot on board, even one dressed as a flight attendant, even one locked out of the cockpit, even one dismissed and ignored, that extra pilot might be the difference between disaster and survival. But Ryan does not know this. Cannot know this. Will not know this. Until it is too late. Until the emergency is already happening. Until he desperately needs help. Until the person he locked out is the only person who can save him. The boarding door closes at 2:47 p.m. The jet bridge pulls away from the aircraft with a hydraulic hiss. Ground crew disconnects the air conditioning unit. Disconnects the power unit. The aircraft is on its own systems now. The engines start with a low rumble. Twin Pratt & Whitney turbofan engines. Powerful. Reliable. The Airbus A330 pushes back from gate 22B. A tug pulls the massive aircraft backward. Slow. Careful. Precise. The tug disconnects. The aircraft is free. Ready to taxi. Ready to fly. Ground control clears them to taxi at 2:51 p.m. Ryan guides the aircraft along the taxiway. Yellow lines painted on the concrete. Jessica handles radio communications. Calling out positions. Confirming clearances. Everything smooth. Everything normal. Everything routine. This is what Ryan loves. This is what he lives for. Flying. Being in control. The aircraft responding to his commands. The power at his fingertips. The responsibility on his shoulders. This is his purpose. This is his identity. This is who he is. Tower clears them for takeoff at 3:04 p.m. Runway 31 left. The longest runway at JFK. 14,500 feet of concrete stretching into the distance. Ryan taxis onto the runway. Lines up perfectly on the centerline. Sets the brakes. Advances the throttles slowly. The engines spool up. The noise builds. The power builds. He releases the brakes. The aircraft starts rolling. Faster. 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 The runway lights blur past. 100 knots. Jessica calls out. V1. Decision speed. Committed now. No stopping. 120 knots. Rotate. Ryan pulls back gently on the yoke. The nose lifts. The main gear leaves the ground. Flight 447 is airborne. They climb into the clear afternoon sky. New York City spreads below them. Manhattan. Brooklyn. Queens. The Hudson River snaking through. The Atlantic Ocean stretching to the horizon. Blue and endless. They climb through 10,000 feet. Through 20,000 feet. Through 30,000 feet. Heading east. Heading out over the ocean. Heading to London. Ryan feels good. Confident. In control. This is a routine flight. He has flown this route hundreds of times. New York to London. Easy. Simple. 7 hours of peaceful flying. Nothing to worry about. Nothing to fear. They level off at cruise altitude 41,000 feet at 3:31 p.m. Cruise speed 530 knots. Course locked perfectly to London Heathrow. 3,459 miles to go. Estimated flight time 7 hours 9 minutes. Weather ahead is perfect. Clear skies. No turbulence. No storms. No problems. Everything is nominal. Everything is perfect. Ryan engages the autopilot. The computers take over. The aircraft flies itself now. Modern technology. Advanced systems. The computers can fly better than humans in many ways. Smoother. More precise. More efficient. Ryan just monitors. Watches. Makes sure nothing breaks. Makes sure everything stays normal. In the cabin, Sarah walks the aisles. Checking on passengers. Making sure everyone is comfortable. Seatbelts fastened for now until the captain turns off the sign. She walks through first class. Leather seats. Plenty of space. Passengers already relaxing. Some reading. Some watching movies on personal screens. Some closing their eyes for a nap. She walks through business class. Lie-flat seats. More passengers. More activity. Then through economy. Cramped. Tight. 333 configuration. Every seat filled. 289 passengers total. Young and old. Families. Business travelers. Tourists. All heading to London for their own reasons. All trusting the crew to get them there safely. She checks on the passenger in seat 12A. The one with the severe peanut allergy. Young man. College age. Nervous flyer. She reassures him. No peanuts anywhere on this flight. Crew has been briefed. He is safe. He relaxes a bit. Thanks her. She smiles. Moves on. She confirms the doctor in seat 23C. Dr. Robert Hayes. Mid-50s. Gray hair. Kind eyes. Reading a medical journal. She introduces herself quietly. Identifies herself as senior flight attendant. Thanks him for identifying himself as a doctor. Hopes she will not need to call on him. But good to know he is there. Just in case. He nods. Smiles. Happy to help if needed. She hopes he will not be needed. She hopes this will be a routine flight. Quiet. Peaceful. Boring. That is what you want in aviation. Boring is good. Boring is safe. Sarah returns to the forward galley at 3:44 p.m. Another flight attendant is there. Marcus. Her friend. He knows her background. Knows she used to fly fighters. Captain friendly today? Marcus asks with a smile. Sarah shakes her head. Same as always. Cockpit is his kingdom. Marcus laughs. You could probably fly circles around him. Sarah smiles but says nothing. She is cabin crew now. That is her job. Time passes at 41,000 feet. The aircraft cuts through the thin air. Smooth. Steady. The autopilot maintains everything precisely. The sun lowers in the western sky. The Atlantic Ocean stretches endlessly below. They are 400 miles from land now. Too far to turn back. Committed to the crossing. Committed to London. At 5:12 p.m., 2 hours into the flight, Sarah walks past the cockpit door. She slows her pace. Listens. She hears voices inside. Ryan and Jessica. Normal conversation. But then something else. A groan. Quiet. Suppressed. Someone in pain. She stops. Listens carefully. Another groan. Definitely from inside the cockpit. Her training kicks in immediately. Something is wrong. She picks up the intercom phone. Presses the button for flight deck. The phone rings. Ryan answers. His voice sounds strained. Wrong. What? He says. Annoyed. Sarah keeps her voice calm. Captain, is everything all right? I thought I heard something. Ryan's response is sharp. Everything is fine. Do not call unless it is an actual emergency. The line clicks dead. He hung up on her. Sarah stands there. Every instinct screaming. Something is very wrong. But she has no authority. No access. The cockpit door is locked. Reinforced. Impenetrable. She cannot force her way in. She returns the phone to its cradle. Goes back to her duties. But she stays alert. Stays ready. Because something is wrong. And when emergencies happen at 41,000 feet over the Atlantic Ocean, seconds matter. Inside the cockpit, Jessica Park feels it first. A strange sensation spreading through her body. Lightheaded. Dizzy. The instruments blur for just a second. She blinks hard. Shakes her head. The blurriness clears. You okay? Ryan asks without looking at her. Yeah, Jessica says. Just felt dizzy for a second. I am fine now. Ryan nods absently. Probably the cabin pressure. Altitude. Drink some water. Jessica reaches for her water bottle. Takes a long drink. Feels slightly better. But not completely better. Something still feels off. Wrong. Strange. She tries to ignore it. Probably nothing. Probably just fatigue. Long flight. Jet lag. Time zone confusion. Her body thinks it is still 2 p.m. New York time. But the sun is setting outside. Her circadian rhythm is confused. That is all. Nothing serious. But 5 minutes later it happens again. Stronger this time. Much stronger. The dizziness returns with force. The cockpit spins. The instruments swim in her vision. Nausea rises fast in her throat. She grips the armrest. Tries to steady herself. Fails. Captain, she says weakly. Her voice barely audible. Ryan looks at her. Really looks at her. Her face is pale. Gray. Sweating. Her hands are shaking. This is not fatigue. This is not jet lag. This is something serious. What is wrong? Ryan asks. His voice sharper now. Concerned. Jessica tries to speak. Swallows hard. I do not know. I feel really sick. Really dizzy. Nauseous. Ryan's mind races. This is a problem. A serious problem. They are over the Atlantic Ocean. 1,800 miles from land. 2,000 miles from the nearest suitable airport. If Jessica is sick, if she cannot function, he loses his first officer. He will be alone. Single pilot. For the next 5 hours. Not ideal. Not good. But manageable. He can handle it. He has flown thousands of hours. He can monitor systems alone. The autopilot does most of the work anyway. He will be fine. They will be fine. Can you continue? He asks Jessica. She nods weakly. I think so. I just need a minute. Need to use the lavatory. She unbuckles her seatbelt with shaking hands. Stands up unsteadily. Uses the seat back for support. She needs to splash water on her face. Get herself together. Fight through this. She is a professional. She can push through. She stumbles toward the small cockpit lavatory in the back corner. Opens the door. Steps inside. Closes the door. Ryan watches her go. Then turns back to the instruments. Everything is nominal. Autopilot engaged and functioning perfectly. Course locked. Altitude stable at 41,000 feet. Speed 530 knots. Fuel consumption on target. Weather ahead clear. No problems. The aircraft is flying itself. He is just here to monitor. To make sure nothing breaks. To make sure the computers behave. He is fine alone. He has done this before. Many times. First officers take bathroom breaks. Take rest breaks on long flights. Sometimes they get sick. It happens. He can handle it. He is a captain. This is what he does. But then Ryan feels it himself. A sharp sudden pain in his chest. Left side. Deep. Intense. Like a knife stabbing between his ribs. He gasps. Grips the armrest with white knuckles. The pain spreads. Radiating down his left arm. Up into his jaw. Into his neck. His vision blurs. Sweat breaks out instantly on his forehead. On his palms. His breathing becomes labored. Shallow. Fast. No. No. Not this. Not now. Not here. He knows what this is. He has been feeling the warning signs for weeks. 4 months. The chest tightness. The shortness of breath. The fatigue that never goes away. The pain that comes and goes. But he ignored it all. Pushed through it. He could not admit weakness. Could not see a doctor. Could not risk being grounded. Could not risk losing his medical certificate. Could not risk ending his career. He has a perfect safety record. 22 years without incident. He is proud of this. Defined by this. His entire identity wrapped up in being Captain Ryan Mitchell. Perfect. Flawless. Invincible. Admitting he had health problems would mean admitting he is human. Admitting he is weak. Admitting he is vulnerable. He could not do that. Would not do that. So he ignored the symptoms. Took antacids for the chest pain. Told himself it was stress. Told himself it was indigestion. Told himself it was nothing serious. He was wrong. Dead wrong. And now his body is failing him. Right here. Right now. At the worst possible time. In the worst possible place. 41,000 feet over the Atlantic Ocean. 289 people depending on him. And he is having a heart attack. Another wave of pain crashes through him. Worse than before. Much worse. Crushing. Overwhelming. He cannot breathe. Cannot think. Cannot function. His left arm goes numb. His chest feels like an elephant is sitting on it. His heart is racing. Pounding. Irregular. Failing. He tries to reach for the radio. Tries to call for help. Tries to declare an emergency. But his hand will not cooperate. His fingers are numb. His arm is weak. Everything is shutting down. His body is betraying him. Killing him. And he cannot stop it. In the lavatory, Jessica vomits. Violently. Painfully. Once. Twice. 3 times. 4 times. She cannot stop. Her stomach empties completely. But the nausea does not stop. It gets worse. She is dizzy. So dizzy. The small lavatory spins around her. She tries to stand. Her legs buckle. She falls. Hits the wall hard. Slides down to the floor. She cannot get up. Cannot move. Can barely breathe. Everything is shutting down. She does not understand. She felt fine an hour ago. Completely fine. Now she is completely incapacitated. Unable to function. Unable to help. Unable to fly. What happened? What is wrong? She does not know. Cannot know. But tests later will show severe food poisoning. Contaminated water bottle. Bacterial infection. E. coli. Sudden onset. Severe symptoms. She will recover in 3 days. But right now, right here, she is completely unconscious. Slumped on the lavatory floor. Not moving. Not helping. Not flying. In the cabin, Sarah hears it. Through the reinforced cockpit door, she hears sounds. Wrong sounds. Groaning. Gasping. Something falling. Something wrong. Very wrong. She moves quickly to the cockpit door. Places her ear against it. Listens carefully. More groaning. Labored breathing. Someone in serious distress. Both of them maybe. She picks up the intercom phone. Calls the flight deck. No answer. She tries again. Still no answer. Third attempt. Fourth attempt. Finally, a voice. Ryan. But it is terrible. Weak. Gasping. Barely coherent. Captain Mitchell, Sarah says urgently. Is everything all right? I can hear distress. Let me help. Open the door. Ryan tries to speak. Tries to tell her he is fine. Tries to maintain control. But he cannot. The words will not come. Just gasps. Just pain. Just dying. Captain, Sarah says more urgently. I need you to open the cockpit door right now. This is an emergency. Let me help you. Ryan manages one word. Barely whispered. No. Then nothing. Silence. The line goes dead. He passed out. Unconscious. Collapsed in the captain's seat. Heart attack. Severe. Critical. Dying. And the door is locked. Reinforced. Impenetrable. Nobody can get in. Nobody can help. Nobody can save him. And the first officer is unconscious in the lavatory. Both pilots down. Nobody flying the plane. The autopilot continues. Maintaining altitude. Maintaining course. But autopilot cannot land. Autopilot cannot handle emergencies. Autopilot needs human supervision. And the humans are incapacitated. Dying. Unable to function. Sarah makes a decision. Fast. She runs to the flight attendant station. Grabs the emergency manual. Flips to cockpit access protocol. There is an emergency procedure. If both pilots are incapacitated, cabin crew can request emergency access from airline operations. She grabs the satellite phone. Emergency hotline. She dials. Someone answers. United Operations. Sarah speaks quickly. Clearly. This is Sarah Chen, senior flight attendant on United 447. We have an emergency. Both pilots are incapacitated. I need immediate cockpit access. Emergency override code. Right now. Repeat that please. Sarah repeats. Both pilots incapacitated. Medical emergency. I need cockpit access immediately. The line clicks. She waits. The line clicks back. Different voice. Senior. This is Captain Torres, Chief Pilot for United. Identify yourself. Sarah responds. Sarah Chen, Senior Flight Attendant, Flight 447. Torres continues. Explain the situation. Sarah explains. Both pilots down. Medical emergency. Nobody flying except autopilot. Need cockpit access now. Torres asks the critical question. Who can fly the plane? Sarah does not hesitate. I can. Silence. Repeat that. Sarah speaks clearly. I can fly the plane. I am a pilot. Former Air Force. F-16 fighter pilot. Commercial license current. 3,200 flight hours. I can land it. Get me into that cockpit. Torres is checking. Computer database. Sarah Chen. Former Air Force captain. F-16 pilot. Commercial license active. Type rating on CRJ 700. Not type rated on A330. But qualified. And she is all they have. Torres makes the decision. Okay. I am authorizing you as acting pilot in command. Stand by for cockpit access code. We are coordinating with air traffic control. You are not alone. The line clicks back. Torres. Okay. We have the emergency access code. I am going to give it to you. 6 digits. Enter it on the keypad next to the door. It will unlock. You will have 30 seconds to enter before it times out. Ready? Sarah grabs a pen. Ready. Torres reads the code. Slowly. Clearly. For -7-2-9-5-3, repeat it back. Sarah repeats. For -7-2-9-5-3, Torres confirms. Correct. Enter it now. Get in there. We are coordinating with Gander Air Traffic Control. They will vector you to the nearest suitable airport. Shannon, Ireland most likely. About 90 minutes. You can do this. We believe in you. Sarah does not respond. Just moves. Action. She runs to the cockpit door. Finds the keypad. Hidden panel. Opens it. 6-digit display. She enters the code. For -7-2-9-5-3, presses enter. A beep. A click. A mechanical sound. The lock disengages. The door is unlocked. Sarah pushes it open. The scene inside the cockpit is chaos. Nightmare. Ryan collapsed half out of the captain's seat. Face gray. Not breathing properly. Gasping. Shallow breaths. Clearly cardiac arrest. In progress. Dying. The first officer nowhere visible. Sarah steps inside. Sees the lavatory door closed. Opens it. Jessica slumped on the floor. Unconscious. Vomit everywhere. Also in critical condition. Both pilots down. Both unable to help. Both unable to fly. Sarah does not panic. Cannot panic. Training takes over. Fighter pilot training. Emergency training. Triage. Prioritize. Act. She moves Ryan first. Unbuckles his seatbelt. He is heavy. Dead weight. She is strong but he is bigger. She drags him toward the cockpit door. Dr. Hayes is there. Marcus brought him. Help me, Sarah says. They pull Ryan out of the cockpit. Lay him flat in the first-class aisle. Dr. Hayes immediately starts assessment. Checks pulse. Weak. Irregular. Checks breathing. Shallow. Labored. Checks pupils. Responsive but sluggish. Cardiac arrest, Dr. Hayes confirms. Starting CPR. He positions his hands. Begins chest compressions. Hard. Fast. Proper form. 100 compressions per minute. Marcus assists. Rescue breathing. Medical kit open. Portable defibrillator ready. They work together. Professional. Efficient. Trying to save Ryan's life. Sarah returns to the cockpit. Pulls Jessica out of the lavatory. More flight attendants help. They carry Jessica to the galley. Lay her on the floor. Check vitals. Breathing but unconscious. Pulse steady. Stable for now. Unknown illness. They monitor her. Keep her airway open. Ready to help if she deteriorates. Sarah returns to the cockpit one final time. Closes the door. Locks it from inside. She is alone now. Completely alone. The cockpit is silent except for the hum of systems. The glow of instruments. The autopilot maintaining course. She stands there for 1 second. Just 1 second. Looking at the captain's seat. The left seat. The seat she has not sat in for 4 years. The seat she thought she would never sit in again. The seat that is now hers. Her responsibility. Her command. She slides into the captain's seat. Buckles the 5-point harness. Adjusts the seat forward. Height. Position. Perfect. Her hands rest on the controls. Yoke. Throttles. Familiar. Different aircraft. Bigger. Heavier. But the same principles. The same physics. The same training. She can do this. She will do this. She checks the instruments. Autopilot engaged. Good. Altitude 41,000 feet. Stable. Speed 530 knots. On target. Course locked to London Heathrow. Fuel 47,000 pounds. Enough. Plenty. Weather ahead clear. Systems all green. The aircraft is healthy. Just needs a pilot. Now it has one. Sarah picks up the radio. VHF frequency 131.5. Gander Oceanic Control. She presses the transmit button. Speaks clearly. Calmly. Professionally. Gander Center, this is United 447. I am declaring an emergency. The controller responds immediately. Trained for this. Ready for this. United 447, Gander Center, go ahead with your emergency. Sarah continues. Gander Center, United 447. Both pilots are incapacitated. Medical emergency. Captain cardiac arrest. First officer unconscious unknown cause. I am a flight attendant with active commercial pilot license. Former Air Force fighter pilot. I have assumed command of the aircraft. Requesting immediate vectors for emergency landing nearest suitable airport. Silence. Long silence. The controller is processing. This has never happened before. Ever. In the history of commercial aviation. Flight attendant flying a wide-body airliner. Unheard of. Impossible. But it is happening. Right now. The controller's voice returns. Professional. Calm. United 447, Gander Center. Confirm. Both pilots incapacitated. Sarah responds. Affirmative. Both pilots down. I am pilot in command. Former Air Force, 3,200 hours, commercial license current. I can fly this aircraft. I need help landing it. The controller believes her. Her voice is too calm. Too professional. Too confident. This is real. United 447, Roger. We are coordinating emergency response. What is your qualification level? Sarah responds. Former Air Force F-16 pilot. Combat veteran. Commercial license active. Type rated on CRJ 700 regional jets. Not type rated on A330 but familiar with glass cockpit systems. Instrument rated. Multi-engine. I can do this. The controller processes. United 447, understood. Stand by. Coordinating with Shannon Airport, Ireland. Closest suitable landing facility. Approximately 90 minutes your position. We will vector you and talk you through everything. You are not alone. Sarah feels that relief again. Support. Help. Guidance. Gander, United 447. Thank you. Ready for vectors. The controller responds. United 447, turn left heading 065. Begin descent to flight level 350. Shannon coordination in progress. Sarah disconnects the autopilot. Takes manual control. Her hands on the yoke. Firm. Steady. She turns the aircraft left. Heading 065. The A330 responds. Heavy. Powerful. Different from the F-16. Different from the CRJ 700. But responsive. Good. She reduces power slightly. Begins the descent. Smooth. Controlled. Perfect. The aircraft handles beautifully. Modern systems. Fly-by-wire. Computer-assisted. Forgiving. She re-engages autopilot. Lets the computers help. No shame in that. Use all available resources. That is good flying. She programs the flight management computer. New waypoints. New route. Shannon Airport. The computer accepts the inputs. Recalculates. Displays the new route. 920 miles to Shannon. 90 minutes. She can do 90 minutes. She can do this. In the cabin, Marcus makes an announcement. His voice calm but serious. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Marcus speaking from the cabin. We are experiencing a medical emergency involving our flight crew. As a precaution, we are diverting to Shannon Airport in Ireland. There is no danger to the aircraft. We have a qualified pilot flying. We will be landing in approximately 90 minutes. Please remain calm. Follow all crew instructions. Emergency services will meet the aircraft. Everything is under control. The cabin erupts in whispers. Fear. Confusion. Some passengers crying. Others praying. But Marcus's voice was calm. That helps. Sarah's earlier announcement helps. Knowing someone is in control helps. Fear does not become panic. Yet. Air traffic control vectors Sarah toward Shannon. Step by step. She follows every instruction. Perfectly. The A330 responds. She is getting a feel for it now. Heavy. Stable. Good aircraft. She programs the approach. Shannon Airport. Runway 24. ILS approach. The aircraft can practically land itself with ILS. But she needs to monitor. Ready to take over if needed. Shannon approach control contacts her. United 447, Shannon approach. Continue heading 065. Descend to 15,000 feet. Sarah responds. Professional. Shannon, United 447. Heading 065, descending to 15,000. She reduces power. Starts the descent. Perfect. The Irish coast appears ahead. Shannon Airport visible. 40 miles. Getting close. Sarah configures for approach. Speed brakes. Reduces speed to 250 knots. Shannon approach guides her. United 447, turn left heading 030. Descend to 8,000 feet. Speed 210 knots. Sarah responds. Left 030, descending 8,000, speed 210. Perfect. Shannon clears her for approach. United 447, cleared ILS runway 24 approach. Contact tower. Sarah switches frequency. Shannon Tower, United 447 on the ILS 24. The tower controller responds. Calm but tense. United 447, cleared to land runway 24. Wind 240 at 12 knots. Emergency services standing by. You are doing great. Sarah appreciates it. Cleared to land runway 24. She configures for landing. Flaps 15. The wings extend. More lift. More drag. She extends landing gear. 3 green lights. Locked. Flaps 30. Full landing configuration. Speed 160 knots. She is on the glide slope. On the localizer. Perfect. 10 miles from the runway. She can see it now. The runway lights. The fire trucks. Emergency vehicles. Lights flashing. Waiting. 5 miles. Sarah's hands are steady. Heart rate calm. This is what she trained for. 2 miles. The runway fills the windscreen. Big. Wide. She is centered. On speed. Perfect approach. 1 mile. 500 feet. She makes minor corrections. The aircraft responds. Stable. 300 feet. 200 feet. Decision height. She can see the runway clearly. Visual now. 100 feet. Reduces power. Idle. 50 feet. She pulls back gently on the yoke. Flares. The nose lifts. The main gear settles toward the runway. Contact. Smooth. Gentle. The main wheels kiss the runway. Perfect landing. The nose gear touches down. She deploys thrust reversers. The engines roar. The aircraft decelerates rapidly. She applies brakes. Smooth. Controlled. No skidding. No sliding. Perfect. The A330 slows. 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 50 knots. 30 knots. 20 knots. 10 knots. Full stop. Middle of runway 24. Shannon Airport. Ireland. 7:14 p.m. local time. Flight 447 is on the ground. Safe. Every single person alive. 289 passengers. 12 cabin crew. 2 incapacitated pilots. And 1 flight attendant who just became a legend. The cabin explodes in applause. Cheers. Crying. Relief. They are alive. They made it. Because of her. Emergency vehicles surround the aircraft. Paramedics board. Rush to Ryan. Dr. Hayes is still doing CPR. The paramedics take over. Advanced equipment. Defibrillator. They shock Ryan's heart. It responds. Weak rhythm but rhythm. He is alive. They stabilize him. Load him onto a stretcher. Rush him to the hospital. Emergency surgery. Triple bypass. He will survive. Jessica is loaded onto another stretcher. Still unconscious. Stable. Hospital for tests. Severe food poisoning. Contaminated water. E. coli. She will recover fully in 3 days. Sarah remains in the cockpit. She completes the shutdown checklist. Every switch. Every system. By the book. Engines off. Everything secure. She unbuckles. Stands. Looks around the cockpit one final time. This is where she belongs. A pilot. Always has been. Always will be. When she exits the cockpit. When she walks into the cabin. 289 passengers stand and give her a standing ovation. They clap. They cheer. They cry. Some reach out to thank her. She saved their lives. Every single one. The flight attendant they barely noticed. She was the only person who could save them. And she did. She remained humble. Just doing my job, she says. But that is not true. She did something extraordinary. Land an aircraft she was never trained on. Under extreme pressure. Perfect landing. Zero margin for error. The video goes viral within hours. Passenger recorded the landing. Posted it online. Flight attendant lands plane after pilot's collapse. The view count explodes. 50 million in 24 hours. News outlets worldwide pick up the story. CNN. BBC. Every network. Sarah Chen becomes an international hero. The flight attendant who saved Flight 447. 3 weeks later. United Airlines headquarters. Captain Ryan Mitchell sits in a conference room. Medical Review Board. They have reviewed his case. His heart condition is severe. Advanced coronary artery disease. He had a massive heart attack at 41,000 feet. He survived only because of Dr. Hayes and Sarah. He will live. But he will never fly again. Medical certificate revoked. Permanently. Ryan sits there taking it in. 22 years of flying. Gone. His identity. His purpose. Taken away. By his own pride. His refusal to admit weakness. He ignored the symptoms. Endangered everyone. Nearly killed 289 people. The board chairman speaks. Captain Mitchell, you violated multiple regulations. Failed to disclose medical condition. Endangered flight safety. Your actions were reckless. Ryan nods. They are right. The chairman continues. However, you are alive because Sarah Chen had the skills to do what you could not. She saved everyone. Including you. Remember that. Ryan nods again. He will remember. Every day. The flight attendant he dismissed. The person he locked out. She saved his life. Flew his aircraft. Did his job. Better than he could have. The humiliation is complete. In a different office. Sarah Chen sits across from United Airlines executives. They know what she did. They are offering her options. Stay as flight attendant with raise and recognition. Or return to the flight deck. Captain position. Full pay. Full support. Sarah does not hesitate. I want to fly. I want to be a captain again. That is who I am. The executives smile. Welcome back, Captain Chen. 6 months later. Captain Sarah Chen sits in the left seat of a United Airlines Airbus A320. 4 gold stripes on her shoulders. Flying again. Where she belongs. Her first officer is young. Respectful. Sarah treats him as an equal. As a partner. She runs her cockpit with respect. With teamwork. The door locks during flight. Security protocol. But if there is an emergency, if someone qualified can assist, the door opens. Because flying is about safety. About teamwork. About getting everyone home. Sarah Chen saved Flight 447. She proved that titles do not define ability. That uniforms do not define skill. That rank does not define competence. She proved the best pilot is not always wearing 4 stripes. Sometimes the best pilot is wearing a flight attendant uniform. Serving drinks. Smiling at passengers. Waiting. Ready. Qualified. And when crisis comes. When lives depend on it. That person steps up. Takes command. Saves everyone. That is what Captain Sarah Chen did. Flight 447. The day the flight attendant became the captain. The day she saved 289 lives. The day she proved everything.